Hey, what's up, everybody? So this video is not a fun one to do. And to be honest, I debated whether or not to even do this. It's not a fun subject, but because this is a channel that looks at issues surrounding Christianity, culture, and the church, and then on top of that, from someone who loves the church, who's grown up in the church, someone that's worked in the church all the way from being a volunteer to being a pastor, and someone who has unfortunately experienced many of the things that the victim in the story that we're going to talk about has experienced. And so I feel like I have a unique perspective on this whole situation, and so felt like I had to at least say something, put something out there. And so if you haven't been paying attention into recent events in the church world, megachurch pastor Robert Morris of Gateway Church, it's just come out where he had, I'm going to say the term SA for flagging purposes. If you say the real word, sometimes YouTube will flag it and then video will get shut down or won't go anywhere. So I'm going to say SA, where it's come out that about 35 years ago, he SA'd a 12-year-old girl for a period of 4 years. Now, the reason why this has been such a big issue is for the last, for his whole ministry, he had admitted to sexual misconduct, and he was open and honest. But the way he had always phrased it was he committed some sexual sin with a young lady. And the leadership at the time, his church leadership, was always under the assumption that this happened in his 20s with a young lady, not a 12-year-old girl. And so she has recently come forward and went to secular media to release her story because she had approached the church on numerous occasions throughout the years, and the church kind of pushed her aside, never really took it seriously, which is angering. That is the response to someone who was making the claims that she was making, to not even address the situation, to not even see if there's any credibility, and just push it to the side is a very bad way to lead and to handle this situation as church leadership. And so, as you know, in recent weeks, more and more has come to the forefront. And Robert Morris, I believe he was married at the time and was staying in the house with another family, and during a 4-year period, multiple times engaged in, sexual things with a minor, a 12-year-old girl. Now, from someone, again, as I mentioned at the beginning, who's experienced SA themselves and experienced it probably in the most traumatic way possible. I actually share my whole story. It's the top video on my YouTube page. The fact that this victim came forward and was dismissed, the fact that she had to carry all of this stuff for all of those years is very hard. It's very hard to hear. I know from my own journey, the things that I experienced, I was much younger than she was. And a lot of that stuff, because I was so young, I just pushed it down. I buried it. Out of survival mode, your mind, your body, it tries to forget what happened and suppresses those memories. And so it wasn't until years later that I really dove into it all. And I look at my life and how emotionally and I was affected. And so I thinking about this young girl, or thinking about this woman now, but growing up from the age of 20 till I think she's in her 50s now, carrying all of that, and just the fact of trying to be open about it and confront the situation, and was just dismissed. that's got to do a lot on you emotionally as well, especially because it's the church, and it's these kind of stories like this that just cause the unbelieving world to look at the church and just say, like, what is wrong with you? This is the last place this kind of stuff should happen. When you have someone who is a pastor, a leader, and they are the ones engaging in this kind of behavior. And then you have church leadership in general who see this girl come to them, this woman come to them, and just keep shunning them aside, not actually taking serious what she was saying. And I guess, he was very open and honest about things happening, but never went into the full detail. And so they took his word for it and just never took her seriously. And so he went through a period, I guess, of 2-year restoration process in his 20s after this. And then he was instituted and restored back into ministry. And my question is, like, what is the wife? What was she doing? She would have had to, did he lie to her too? She would have had to know, this person, this girl, that she wasn't young, or that she wasn't a young lady, like older. She was a little girl. And so this whole situation is just really sad. It's just really dark. And, my belief is that there's no statute of limitations on SA. There isn't. And, I don't know what's going to come of this from a legal perspective, but I think that there are definitely consequences for your actions, especially of this nature. And, I think that the way this whole thing was handled and the church allowing him to just resign and kind of step away quietly, he should have been terminated. He should have been let go. Like, this is a criminal offense. And to lie about it for 30 plus years and to try to silence this woman by making her seem like she's the crazy one, like it's her claims are false, and to use your position of authority to manipulate and control people. It's just, we have to do better as the church. And I think that's the purpose of this video, is as the church, we have to do better. This can't be allowed to continue. There has to be another way of structure, of accountability, of governance, that this kinds of thing never happens. I feel really sorry for that woman. I feel sorry for the church, that now they're kind of are going to go through a very difficult period. These kinds of things are never good for a local church body. It's just, I'm actually reading through in my Bible reading plan, the Kings, and you just see over and over and over again this wicked king after wicked king after wicked king after wicked king. And we're not talking about pagan nations. We're talking about the people of God. These are the leaders over God's people, and they are involved in the most wicked behaviors. And I read that, and I'm just like, it just shows how much we need Jesus, how much he is the true leader. He's the king that we all need. He is the pastor that we all need. He's the only perfect one. And my hope and my prayer is that we would have the heart of God, that we would operate the mind of Christ, and that we would actually allow him to be the leader of the church. And I know that sounds cliche, but as someone who's grown up in the church, and I've seen the good, bad, and the ugly in church in every area, on every level, and it's like there has to be another way to having a growing, healthy, functioning church, and allowing Christ to be Christ over the church, where this kind of stuff just, it doesn't happen. And if it does, it doesn't get pushed under the rug for 35 years. And so, yeah, let's just keep this church, keep the families in prayer, keep that woman and her family in prayer, and let's just ask God to come in and release his wisdom and his peace and his will to be done in this situation. And again, this isn't the only one. In recent months and years, there's just been this growing trend of mega church pastors falling. We got to do better. We got to do better. Thanks so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts, your comments about the situation in the comment section below. Let's start a dialogue, and yeah, just would love to know what y'all think. And yeah, have yourself an awesome rest of your day and evening, and we'll see you all in the next video. Much love. God bless.